Hi guys, just wait, we're gonna have Stuart join again, but I just gotta wait for him to request. Bear with me. Thanks, Joe. Your comments are lovely. Just bear with me, guys. I've got to just wait for Stuart to jump back on again. Yeah. I know. Joe, my sister just came in and said, "That's my friend Joe from uni." I said, "I know." Carls, do you mind just popping Stuart a message just so he knows that we've started another live again? Ah, here we go. Don't worry, I've got him. Hello.
Hi, sorry, I have to go and get the charger for the phone as well.
No, that's all right. That's fine. We're having very, very lovely responses. Everyone's saying that this is a great platform and they're really good to have you. It's really good to have you on. So it's
Oh,
amazing. This is why we only do part 2 with our most important lives. So you are part of our most important list.
thank you, I appreciate it. I really do.
But yeah, if you can remember what you was about to trail off onto, we'll get
We talked
started
about
on that.
the music and the N word and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and yeah. So I was talking about how yeah, I was reading this book and I was talking about how the reason why religion was brought into these islands as well was it was always deemed and said that we were lesser than people. We weren't people.
Yep.
We weren't human beings. And that was the number reason why we wasn't human beings as like other people, like the white people that were controlling us, was because we didn't have religion, we didn't have God, and that's the reason why then Christianity became such a huge thing in
Mhm.
the black community as a pillar of trying to say to these other people, to the white people, look, we found God. You
Mm.
know, we understand it. We've read the good book. You know, we live our lives by these rules. And even then, when they did that, they found something else to find another reason why they wanted to say that you if you didn't do this, and that's what we've always had to try and find ways of always trying to meet an expectation that we can't quite find out what it is.
Yep.
So that's the reason why also about the whole generational thing as well. It's been a plight and a battle that for generations, for years, we just haven't quite known what it is to be ourselves and
Yep.
and that's again the reason why I think some of the problems that our community has is that the reason why we have those problems and issues. But hopefully now we're getting better and we're getting more
I
aware of it.
genuinely believe that I feel like black people and Asian people, I'm going to use black people as more of a kind of example because I feel like they have suffered years and years and years of trying to find who they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And let's just talk about your natural hair, right? For years and years and years, these black girls would never ever show their natural hair, would never accept their natural hair, would always be relaxed, or they'd have weaving that was straight. And I know there was a period of time that a lot of young black girls were trying to like have blue contacts and like blonde hair and stuff. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with dyeing your hair a
Mm-hmm.
specific color, but it was the shame around It was a shame. I'm going
Yeah.
to put that in. It's not a shame, but I'm going to say it's a shame. It was the shame of black girls having, or even black men as well, having their afros out or
Yeah.
having their natural hair on show. And it's so amazing to just scroll through Instagram and see so many people embracing their natural things, their natural hair that they were taunted, teased, abused, bullied, like all of these kind of things over the years. That's what people have experienced based
Yeah.
on their natural products or their natural beings, right? So it's a beautiful thing to see that people are starting to feel more comfortable to be themselves, to show
Definitely.
their real selves, right?
Definitely.
And that's why with my son's hair, there was a time, this was when we was younger actually, and with my older cousin, he's mixed race, but when he was in secondary school, he had a massive afro,
Yeah.
massive, and he was excluded for
Oh wow.
having his afro out. They said they either had to cut it off or he had to have it in plaits or whatever. He wasn't allowed to have his afro out because they considered it to be unprofessional or messy, or right. And there's been numerous of cases of that, of things like that. What about the girl that started up her own little revolution in Jamaica? I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw about it, but she basically started up a whole petition to say that we should be allowed to have our natural hair, because the school basically banned all of these girls having their natural hair out. So they
Oh
weren't
wow.
allowed to have their afros on show. They either had to have it in plaits or tied back or something. They weren't allowed to physically have it out because they considered it to be messy. But that is also an issue of colonization.
Yeah.
That's a school that clearly hasn't developed and hasn't grown from where it was before, because they're still, even in Jamaica, in
Yeah, I know.
Jamaica, you're
But
telling
again, you've
people
got to
in
see
Jamaica.
Jamaica's taken its education system, the fundamentals of it from England, though,
Yeah,
from the motherland. And
that's what I'm
again,
saying.
you've got to understand that it was told and it was preached and it was hypnotized that it was important to be as close as what this perfection was told to be as possible. And again, that comes back down to the narrative of control. You know, if you don't allow people to be their natural self, if you always tell people they have to conform to something
Yeah.
that isn't what they are, and they
Mm.
have to somehow alter themselves to be that, then again, it comes back to the whole thing about control, a mindset, a way of doing things. So that's really important for everyone to understand that it's really important. And I remember there's a lady I follow on Twitter that had her daughter, was one of the first ones in this country about her hair. Again, had wanted to have her hair out, told her she couldn't, and now it's like she now goes around helping other people. And I always say to me, if the school rule doesn't affect a young person's performance, it doesn't stop other people performing or enhance themselves at school, then what is that rule there for?
What is it there for?
And so that's a hard one for
Do you
people
know
to
what?
try and explain.
I know it's not on the same scale, but when I look back at the rules that we had in our planners at school, right? And it was, you had to have your top button done up, you had to ask to take your blazer off, you had to have 5 straps on your tie, your skirt had to be below a certain thing. You were only allowed to wear blue, black tights or socks, right? You weren't allowed to wear trainers. If you wore trainers, you had to go and put plimsolls onto it. It's a whole embarrassment thing, right? And I'm just like, when I look at it now, I'm like, right, so having 5 stripes on my tie, that's definitely going to block my brain from being able to absorb any information that my teacher's telling me. Having trainers on my feet, and I do get to an extent that having all students dressed the same, there's no kinds of like competition with what you're wearing, blah, blah, blah. I get that, right? But it's been proven in countries such as like Sweden, Norway, all of these kind of countries where they have no uniform, they have no structured schooling system, they have a lot of like outside time planting fruits and trees and plants and all of this kind of stuff. Everything that they're doing is the right way to do things. It's the
100%.
right way to do things. Even my one of my clients, so I actually do nail tech, right? So I do nails as well. And one of my clients was telling me the other day, she's Polish. She was born in Poland. She came over here when she was maybe like 18 or something like that. And she said university is free. If you want to become a doctor, you can go to university in Poland and it's completely free. If you want
Yeah.
to become like a pharmacist or a doctor or any kind of medical studies, you can go over there and it's completely free. No matter what country you come from, it's completely free.
Oh wow, even if you look what country you come from.
Yes,
But you
she
got to
said
remember
that's
though.
why there's people that come over from China, India, all of these different. She said it to me herself. That's why they come over from those countries and they go and study in Poland because they can get free education.
Wow. But I'd say the education system over here was quite free as well, isn't it? University's only been starting to charge in only the last, I think it's 5 or 6 years, I suppose, maybe
Yeah.
to make maximum 10 years. But that was again was another way to try and eliminate people's social mobility.
Mm.
If you make it more difficult to jump through the hoop, then some people are going to go like, oh no, I'm not going to bother. Like
Mm.
that's a lot, and it's a lot of debt to saddle someone with before they even start their working life.
Yeah.
But again, it was another way to separate for those people that could afford it, that can afford it, that are able to access it, from those that can't. And
Yeah.
so it's the layer of systems that they keep introducing. And for me, as I said, it's important to try and help our young people to understand that there are other ways. You
Yeah.
don't need to go to university.
I was just about to say that let me just reiterate, right, that you don't have to. I've never been to university. I didn't go to
Yeah,
university. Both my sisters have. My younger sister just finished. Both my sisters have gone to university. And to be honest with you, sorry to drop you in it, my older sister Hina, she's joined this live, but she doesn't do anything to do with her degree.
yeah.
Doesn't use it. She has invested all of her time and her effort into peer-to-peer education and making it as amazing as it is, and she hasn't had to use her degree to do that. So
Yeah.
I just want to remind people that education is not always necessarily the route that is right for you.
Definitely, definitely.
That's what my
And
sister just literally said. She said, zero, it was a waste of money for me. So sometimes it
yeah, I
literally
see,
doesn't,
and
it doesn't
that's
work for
why.
some people.
Yeah, and that's why as a teacher, I did find it quite difficult towards the end because I was like, rah, if you don't want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, a doctor, a teacher, that if you're anything out of them five professions, you probably don't need to go to university.
No,
You probably don't. And
no.
again, I've got friends who didn't go, and I did go. But anything creative, you don't need to go because you're
No.
going, and someone else is telling you about your creative process, whether
Yeah.
they like it or don't like it. But that's who you are as a character.
Yeah.
That's what defines and makes you. So therefore, to hear someone say, "Oh, by the way, do you know what? I wouldn't do like this. This is the way you should do it."
Mm.
Right, that's the way that you would do it. It's not the
Yeah.
way I would do it because I've done
Yeah.
it the way that I would do it. So
Yeah.
I always try to encourage people. If it's creative, you might not need to go.
This
You
is this
might
is
not
the
need to go.
exact position that I was in, right? So with beauty, you have to have a qualification to be able to do it. Now, initially, I decided to go to college. It was going to take me 3 years to qualify. I was like, for God's sake, this is far too long. I just want to get straight in. I'm sick and tired of learning. I've just come out of, well, I'd come out of school. I had my son. I tried to go to college, didn't like it. So then I decided to just kind of start working, right? And I was given a really good opportunity by a young black lady who gave me an amazing opportunity to start in a salon, unqualified, and she started training me, right? I then tried to go to college to do beauty. Was taking me far too long. I'm so impatient and so impulsive, right? So I was like, do you know what? Sod this. I'm not going to go to college anymore. I'm going to just do a course myself, right? So I went and did my beauty course. Have done beauty for a few years now. In lockdown, I was like, I want to start doing acrylic nails. I'm self-taught. I'm
Wow.
self-taught. I offer acrylics. I'm fully insured, fully like qualified to do it, but I just haven't taken the course. You can actually be a self-taught nail tech, as long as you've got some sort of nail tech qualification, which sometimes can cost about 50 quid. It's not expensive. I did mine with
Wow.
OPI, which is a brand, just letting people know. So if you do want to get into it, you can go through that route. But I did mine with OPI. It cost me about £45. It's a 1-day course. You get your qualification and boom, you can start doing nails. I now run my own business.
Wow.
That's what I do, as well as doing my peer-to-peer stuff. I
Yeah.
also run my own nail business. So it's very possible. It's done, and you can do it. If I can flip and do it, you can do it. And this
100%.
is what I want to try and tell young people as well. And I always go, whenever I used to go to schools, I always used to say to them, I do beauty, I do nails, because if there's a young girl in my class who wants to do that, I'm going to sit her down after hours, let everyone else leave the classroom. I'm going to sit her down and say, right, this is how you're going to go about it. You're going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
finish school. You're going to go to college. You're going to go to sixth form. This is the route that you can take to do this, if that's what you want to do, because you
100%.
can go on to start up your own business. The beauty industry is one of the biggest industries in the world. It's got the highest demand for services. You will
Definitely.
always be able to offer your services and always be able to find a job. So it's
Definitely.
security. Do you get
Definitely.
what I'm saying? So if I can put that onto young people, I'm going to do that.
And it's one of those things, isn't it? It's as well as, isn't it? It's not just doing that. It's as well
No,
as. It's a
as well
side
as,
hustle. It's something that I can add as an option extra.
yeah,
Because again, this is another reason why I left education as well. Because there is no job for life no more.
no,
The whole days of hearing people saying, "Oh yeah, I've been here 50 years or 60." That's not going to happen anymore because
no.
the environment of the world's changing so quickly. Things are changing so quickly that
Mm,
kids are now studying for jobs, or still be studying for jobs that are not even invented yet.
yeah,
So that's the craziness of life and the pace that we're moving
yeah.
at. But
It's
again,
also
that
a situation of, sorry to cut you, it's
no, it's
also
right.
a situation of me being a person in school who didn't agree with the schooling system. I was, excuse my language, but I was a little shit in school. I hated it, hated being there. I used to cause havoc. My GCSE grades were as good as they were going to get, but I just did not connect with school whatsoever.
Mm.
Now, I needed someone to support me then, to say, right, you need to, if this is what you want to do, or if you want to channel your energy into something else, this is what we need to do. I didn't have that. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have
yeah,
someone
yeah,
down and say, right, if you're not going to concentrate in school, you need to be thinking about what you're going to do. Do you know what I mean? I didn't
yeah,
have
yeah,
anyone. I had my mum, who was amazing, and she encouraged us and kind of went along with whatever we wanted to do. She supported us. That's what it was. It wasn't a thing of like tough love or anything like that. She just said, right, if that's what you want to do, you go and do it. That's what
yeah,
she
yeah,
said,
yeah,
right? So it wasn't a situation of someone just sitting me down and saying, right, you are good at this, so go and do that. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Definitely,
If we
definitely.
can try and push that onto young people now, we won't have the struggles of young people coming out of education and being like, what do I do now? Do you know
Definitely,
what I mean?
100%. And doing the book and stuff, I found out that there's a couple of things that I never knew, like I said before. So the first thing I found out is that between the age of 13 to 16, your brain actually grows. It
Mm,
grows into its adult state, and in that growing into its adult state, the mapping of your brain of how you think, how you speak, how your knowledge, that starts to get messed up a bit because it's remapping itself.
mm.
I was just like, well, if that happens at 13, 14, why are we then asking young people to A, make big decisions that can shape and mold their
Why?
life? And then we then start to ask them to put them under extreme pressure to say, right, you've just done 5 years worth of stuff. You now need to prove that 5 years was for nothing. Do you see what I'm saying? It's such a such a messed up system. And I'd like people to look at the Finnish system as well. In Finland, there's 5 women from 5 different political parties that are basically ripping up the rule books and all the laws out there and asking the public, what is it that we need to have now to govern and to state this country that we live in now? Because the rules that we had, they're hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Mm,
They're not fit for purpose anymore.
yeah,
And that's what I've been saying to people. Like, wouldn't it be great now as a country if we said, cool, we've left Brexit, we're a
yeah.
standalone country,
What?
but in being a standalone country now, we're going to say we are anti-racist, we're anti-discriminating, we are anti-hate. Anyone that
Yeah,
says they hate someone, then we're going to try and educate them and try and teach. But that doesn't work, then we're going to lock them in prison.
yeah,
What a great advertisement for the rest of the world to say we are anti-everything. We stand for people. If you want to come over here and contribute and work your hardest, then they're the type of people we want in this country. That would be a great world to live in, and that's something that I think will enable some of the problems that other people are facing.
yeah.
Who wouldn't be there.
My issue is, right, I'm going on to like a little bit of a different subject, but being someone who has financially struggled in the past, right? And it's probably still not in a financially position where I would like to be,
Mhm.
right? I'm still grafting, I'm still growing, I'm still having to work my absolute arse off to pay my bills every month, right? And my issue with the whole kind of financial system that's going on around us is why take from people that don't have. That's what I struggle to comprehend. Now, I understand that taxes need to be paid. I
Yeah.
understand that. But why on earth do you need to take council tax, road tax, all of these different taxes, yeah? Why do you need to take so many from me? Why? Why do you have to
Well,
do that?
they don't, but again, it perpetuates the system, doesn't it? It enables people to
Yeah.
be in the powers and place that they are, and then again, I'm not. Before anyone tries to shoot me down, I'm not. I don't care about the establishment. I'm not an anti-royalist,
Mm.
but know that our taxes and the money that you've just been talking about goes in that direction. Know that the money that we're working and earning for goes and pays for. Little Bojo, he's got his little house
Yeah.
come up the other day. That's our money that go and pay for that.
Listen, there's a whole new theatre, £100 million theatre that's being built in central London, right? It's going to be called the Queen's Theatre or something like that. They're building a brand new theatre, £100 million.
Wow.
But you don't have £100 million to invest back into the NHS or
Yeah.
to give them more than a 1% freaking pay rise.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like, the whole concept of the world and people's priorities, it's messed up for me right now. It's messed up.
No,
In
it
my eyes,
is.
it's messed up. I don't agree
And
with it.
we need to do more because, again, we should be able to form our own alliances and our own systems. And this comes out of like the traditional thing that what happens is people go to university, you might meet like-minded people, you have ideals of the way that you see the world, you start to band together, you form a group. That group then devolves itself into a movement, an activism movement, sometimes even to a political movement. You start your
Yeah,
own political party, you try to galvanize other people into your way of thinking. This is what usually happens, and a political party is born out of it. That doesn't
yeah,
happen anymore. We are now stuck with the traditional of Conservatives, Labour. You
like,
know,
yep,
this is also the problem because again, it's just a perpetuation of if they're the only two people in power,
yep,
then they know that it's a career, it's a lifespan, it's a way of life. So therefore, if my dad was an MP, a minister, that more likely than I'd be a minister and an
yep,
MP, which then means that the whole system and the whole story just keeps on going round and round and round and round
mm,
and round and round. So
yep,
again, you're right. We need to inform our young people about politics. We need to inform our young people about law. We need
yep.
money. Owning our own businesses, generational wealth.
Well, this is what
Intercultural wealth,
we've
all those sort of
said.
things as well.
This is what we've said in previous lives. Is even till this day, I don't know how to apply for a mortgage.
Yeah.
I don't know how to apply for a mortgage. I've got no clue. But
Yeah.
why are there not systems in place to educate young people on life? Do you know what I
But
mean? Life.
that's what I used
How
to
do you
do.
how do you
Yeah.
manage your money?
Yeah.
How do you make sure if I'm self-employed, I still to this day do not know how to do my taxes properly. My sister's going to help me with it. I still don't know how to do it properly
Yeah.
because I've never been taught. You have to be taught
Yeah.
about this.
You
Why on
do
earth do I need to be taught about X plus Y equals Z? Why? Why do I need to be taught about that? Why do I
because
need to
it's
be taught about what Shakespeare said 1,500 years ago? Why do I
yeah.
need to be taught about that? What is that? How is that going to get me through life? I understand that for some people, education, doing well academically, will get them far in life. But what about
100%.
the people that struggle academically? What
100%.
about the people that don't understand it?
Yeah, and that was one of the questions I used to ask the kids all the time. What kind of lifestyle do you want to have?
Yeah,
Where do you want to live? How many times on holiday do you want to go on? When you start asking those questions, you can then say, okay, cool. So you want to go on holiday twice a year. You want to live in Brixton. Okay, cool.
yeah,
That means you need to have X amount of P's in your bank account. That means you need this type of job. which
Yep.
means you need to work this hard at school. So
Yep.
you can trace it back to them. Yes, definitely. Schools have a lot of responsibility, and I don't think we could teach everything, but I definitely believe there's some more softer skills, more practical skills for life that we could definitely be getting in schools to be taught more of. The whole
Mm.
thing around money and the responsibility for money, there is a few institutions out there that are trying to do better and to talk to young people about it, but it needs to
Yeah.
be practical. It needs to be
It needs
relatable. It needs
to
to
be
be,
part of the curriculum.
yeah,
That's what it
definitely.
needs. There doesn't need to be external organizations having to be like having to struggle to get funding to be able to provide these sessions. It needs to be part of the national curriculum standard.
Yeah,
There's no
definitely.
conversation. As much as we do PSHE needs to include financial SEHE.
But it
Do you know
does.
what I mean?
PHC does cover for financial. It does cover
Only
things like
to
the
an
law,
extent, though.
but
Only to
it's
an
the amount of
extent.
time that PHC is
This is it.
given. You know,
It's
so
normally what, 1 or 2 sessions. That's not enough.
it was 1 hour every 2 weeks. That's what
That's
we
what I'm
did.
saying. It's not enough.
So which is not enough, definitely. And again, that again when you get to a certain age. So year 10 to 11 didn't have it as much because that's more time they could be spending on, their exams, etc. So it's a catch-22, definitely
Mm,
catch-22, and that's why I definitely would say again, if we can encourage our parents to try and again, I was thinking about this the other day because I was sort of watching this program on bt2 about the education system and about being called subnormal, and it reminded me about Saturday school. I went
mm.
to Saturday school, on a Saturday morning, when all my mates were going out to play, when all my mates were going down to the leisure centre to go swimming. There I am, rocking it down to the. But again, those little things enabled me to give it a bit of extra confidence that I needed
Yeah.
in maths and English. And again, so I was just like to myself, we need to start rather than maybe what we need to stop doing is asking others and do it ourselves. Again, I was just about summer
Yeah.
school. Maybe because again, like
You're right.
I went to summer school, went to summer scheme, and yes, there was a bit amount of playing that went on, but then we did learn things. They did teach us
Mm.
things as well. There were those
So
practical things.
with summer school, because or Saturday school, I never went, and I've never known services to offer that. Not a Saturday school. I know there's tutoring, but it costs money.
Yeah,
So again, that's another catch-22 of
yeah,
you want to help your kids succeed
yeah.
academically, but you don't have the finances to provide extra tuition.
No, definitely. But again, this is where we need to be smart about it. So all we need is a space. Then what we do, we ask, those students that are A-level math students, they are A-level English students, just to come in and to give an hour's worth of their time. And for that
Yep.
hour's worth of time, we will write you a glowing reference that will enable you to start up your own tutoring business if that's what you want to
Yep.
do. Or it will enable you to go and get that job that you want to go into. So this is what I'm saying. We just need to sit down and think about it and just be a bit resourceful with it all.
Yeah.
And then we don't charge people for that.
No.
The school shouldn't have a problem in opening up a couple of classrooms on a Saturday when you're closed already. The
Yeah.
schoolkeeper, you're getting paid money to
And
be
more
inside
time they
school.
live right next door to the school anyway. So
There
all
we
you've
go.
got to do is just come
So
and unlock the
it's a
school.
couple of hours. So that's what I'm saying. We've just got to be resourceful, smart, and ingenious about how we then help, because I think that's what's happened and lacks a little bit now. I was saying this the other day to my friends, like we are now the adults. So the things that our parents did. No, some of our parents weren't smart enough to write things down, pass on the knowledge and information properly, but they still
Mm.
did it for us.
Yeah.
So therefore, in that knowledge that they did it for us, why don't we do it for our own children?
Yeah.
Because waiting around for others to do it, it's not going to happen. Because
No,
again,
100%. I agree.
power isn't given to no one. You have to take it. You
I
have to
feel
take
like
it.
the whole concept of it takes a village
Yeah,
has kind of been brushed to the side a little bit more, and that mindset and that saying needs to be back in people's
definitely,
minds. It needs to be
100%.
back.
And I think some of that came around where people were upset when, I remember as a child growing up, if one of my neighbours knocked on my door and said to my mum, Stuart was misbehaving, that's it. Game
Yeah.
over for Stuart. There is none
Yeah.
of my mum going, why are you knocking my door for?
Yeah.
Why are you watching my son for? There's none of this. My mum's
No.
like, thank you very much. I will deal with this.
Yeah.
And she's having words with me. Wait till your
Yeah.
father gets home and all of that sort of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's also what I think has stopped the whole village mentality where
Yeah.
people say, "Why are you watching my child for? Like, watch your
Yeah.
own child."
It's true.
It's for me. It wasn't out of spite that someone was. They were trying to help my mum have
Yeah.
eyes and ears everywhere.
Yep.
That's all it was. So I think
So
we've just got a
my
little bit
mum and
confused
my
a little bit.
stepdad, my
Yeah,
mum and my stepdad used to say to us girls, like, we've got eyes everywhere. We've got eyes everywhere. We used to get catch out all the time. All
yeah,
three of us used to get catch out all the time, because there'd be one friend of my mum's or someone who she knew from like swimming group or something that would be watching us out and watching what we're up to as teenagers, sneaking around the back for a fag.
yeah,
And one of my mum's friends would just be walking by the alleyway at that time and go and report back to my mum. How we used to sit there and be like, how have you found this out?
yeah,
How do
yeah,
you know
yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But
Definitely,
that was just a standard thing back then. But
definitely,
it's a shame that it's not about anymore. It's a shame.
definitely.
But then on the flip side, I'll be completely honest with you. With all of these reports of missing kids and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
don't really let my child hang out on the street too much.
No,
He
me
doesn't really
neither.
go out and play. I can't
Me
even lie
neither.
to you.
No, me
The
neither.
most I let him do is go to the shop by himself.
And that's something that we spoke about the other day, me and my wife. And the shop is a one road away. It's literally like if he ran his fastest, it's 30 seconds away.
Yeah,
But still, my wife's like, "Oh, shall we? Is it
yeah.
okay?" And especially, I agree with you. This whole thing about, and again, I don't. Is it that we're more informed now, so we
It
know
is.
about it more? I think that's what it
It
is,
is.
rather than
That's
thinking it's
exactly
happening
what it
more.
is.
But again, that's yeah, for me. That's so sad to see the amount of. I know I tried to post them all, and I tried to make sure that I keep the circulation
Mm,
going because, again, I wouldn't want to be in that position of not knowing where my little person is and if
no,
he's
no.
okay and stuff. That must be so disheartening
Oh God,
as
I couldn't
well.
think of anything worse. The panic that must
Yeah,
go through your body
no,
when I'm
definitely.
seeing these parents that are trying to find their young person, and I couldn't fathom the idea of my son leaving the house and never coming back, or leaving the house and I don't know
Yeah,
where he's gone. I just can't. Even like my son is due, so he'll be going into year 6 in September. He's 10 as well.
yeah,
So he'll be going into year 6 in September, and I'm thinking, oh my God, a whole year and he'll be going to secondary school. I'm like, my parents used to let us get on the bus. We used to we moved from Gants Hill to Barking, but our school was still in Gants Hill, so we was having to jump on 2 buses to get to school every morning. And it was cool, like it was a calm thing. It was 3 of us, it was me and my 2 sisters. We all used to just jump on the bus together and go to school. It wasn't an issue. I'm sitting there thinking, I think I'm just going to take my boy to school himself. Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to drive him. What harm will it do? I'm just going to drive him to school myself. Do you know
we
what I mean?
can't
I've got
do
no
that
problem
though.
with that.
We
I
can't do that.
know, but
We
it's
can't
me
do
being
that.
my protective mother
Yeah,
self
100%, 100%. But we've
and
got
just
to allow them to
wanting to.
grow and to learn
I
because there's
know.
something called the hidden education that happens when we're not around as adults that they learn themselves. And you've got to
Yeah.
be comfortable in the fact that you've given him core principles, you've given him a clear directive of the way that it has to be. And,
Mm,
you've got to be mindful of that. You've done good enough job to set him up for anyone else that comes along and tries to test his principles and test the values,
yeah.
that he's going to
Mm,
go, do you know what? No, it's all right. Do you know what? Because I know what,
yeah.
my
Yeah.
mum and dad says this, and this is the way I'm going to be. If you don't like it, then cool. Like, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's really important. But no, I know it's going to be hard. And as I say, another 3 or 4 years time after that, he ain't going to be on road with you. Like, who? I
I
go out with my
know.
mum. I ain't got to go out with my mum. No, mum. You just like, so again, that's the next part of it that we've got to be prepared for, to be able to know that they're going to be okay because we've done a good enough job of them to know that if they
Yeah.
do come across anything, there is any problems, any issues anyway, they know what to do next.
Yeah. 100%. But what I'm going to do is, speaking of my child, he is due to have dinner now. So
Okay.
I'm going to make a move. But I just want to say that it has been absolutely amazing having you on. And we
No.
are extremely grateful for you to come on. And first of all, to share the story about your brother. It's just an amazing thing. As you said, it took you a while to kind of start speaking about it. And I know you have done a lot of speaking about it, but it's still it's still a little cut every time you speak about it. Do you know what I mean? It's never going to stop affecting you. So
No,
thank
100%.
you so much
No
for
worries.
coming on and sharing with you. We absolutely appreciate it. We had a part 2 with you, so that, like I said to you, it's only the special guests that get a
Thank
part 2.
you.
So
I'm
it's
blessed.
amazing.
Thank you.
My sister, who is the CEO of the company, has just said thank you so much, Stuart. You are amazing.
No worries.
So we are really, really grateful, and hopefully we can stay in touch and
Yeah,
be in
definitely.
touch in the future.
100%.
I don't know if you're still kind of involved in the educational system, but we are actually starting to offer one-to-one mentoring sessions with
Good.
myself.
Good.
So going forward, I'm going to be kind of going into schools and speaking to children, young people on a one-to-one basis. It's predominantly going to be young people that are going through some stuff.
Yeah.
But if you kind of, it's not necessarily just through the school. You can self-refer if you feel like there's anyone in your family or friends or anything. Just pass over our details, or they can contact us, whatever. And we'd be more than happy to get them booked in. But that's what we're doing at the minute. That's our next
Brilliant.
project, is
Brilliant.
a mentoring. So. But yeah,
Definitely.
amazing. And thank you so much for everyone who joined as well. It's been amazing. Everyone's
No, thank you.
comments and things like that. It's been an amazing live. But Stuart, have an amazing rest of your evening.
Same to
And
you.
I wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Definitely. Same to you. And I said, if I can help out anyway, because as I said, I believe that mentoring is a hugely important thing
Yeah,
to do as well.
massive.
And so anything I can do to help around that as well, let me know.
Perfect. Amazing.
Okay.
Thank you
No
so
worries.
much, Stuart. Have a
No
good
worries.
evening. Take
Same
care.
to you. Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.